I'm Adrienne Montani. I'm the Provincial Coordinator with First Call, BC Child and Youth Advocacy Coalition. We're grateful today to be doing our work on the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam nations. So today we're releasing the 22nd BC Child Poverty Report Card, marking the as yet unfulfilled 1989 House of Commons promise to end child poverty by the year 2000. This report is co-published with the expertise and support of Spark BC and with our partners in Campaign 2000, the national campaign to end child and family poverty. Campaign 2000 publishes the annual national child poverty report card, and there are several other provinces releasing their report cards today, in addition to BC. I want to acknowledge that we're grateful for the financial support to make this work possible from Vancity and the Vancity Community Foundation, and the generous support of the BC Teachers Federation in hosting us this morning and providing technical support. We also always have to remember and thank all of the First Call Coalition member organizations who contribute their knowledge and their expertise over the full year, bringing to this work of monitoring the impacts of public policy on children and the trends in child and family poverty, illuminating the impacts that public policy has on families through their work as direct service providers or human service providers of various kinds, and looking at what traps families in poverty, what drops them into poverty, and what fails to help them get out of poverty. This year, we actually have something to celebrate a bit, because in the last couple of years, there have been some significant steps taken by both federal and provincial governments. So our advocacy has started to pay off, we think, and to bear fruit. Particularly in BC, we want to acknowledge that there was a unanimous passage of the BC Poverty Reduction Strategy Act just a few weeks ago that set a target to reduce BC's child poverty rate by 50% within 5 years, starting next January. So we're still looking for the plan that won't be released until next March, but we're happy to see that legislated target in place to hold government and ourselves accountable, and we're looking forward to the political will and the investments behind that plan to come through in the next provincial budget. And I also want to acknowledge that even in last year or this year's provincial budget, we've seen some investments in things we've been calling for, such as investments in universal child care that will start lowering the cost of quality child care and building a universal system of publicly affordable and available and accessible quality childcare for families in BC. So we're grateful for those things starting to happen, because that will, certainly around childcare, it will help make it more feasible for certainly single-parent families to go to work. So that's and it will help two-parent families as well to have two earners where they need them. But as the figures demonstrate in this report again this year, income inequality continues to grow in our province. It's a wealthy province. It continues to grow in our very wealthy country, and as a result, child, youth, and family poverty levels remain disgracefully high. So the report contains 20 recommendations to both federal and provincial governments for public policy improvements that will help eliminate this shameful situation. So we're seeing some movement, but we're not there yet. And as the data we're presenting is from 2016, so some of the steps that government has taken don't show up in the statistics yet. Our speakers this morning are Scott Graham, the Associate Executive Director of Spark BC, the Social Planning and Research Council of BC, and Scott is going to walk us through the data and some of the recommendations in the report. We also have Dr. Carissa Patricelli, a physician who works in Surrey, who will speak about the mothers and children she sees struggling with the impacts of poverty on their lives. And Phyllis Joseph, a parent who has experienced the challenges of poverty that poverty's brought in her own life.